Yo, what's going on? What's going on? This is Irregular Raps. Thank you guys, whoever's going to tune in. Thank you for tuning in. This is Irregular Raps, another talk show for you people out there. We're going to have a good discussion today because I have a guest on the show. I had him twice on the show so far, and he is knowledgeable. He can talk his talk on, the subjects when it comes to prepping the artists, the musicians, and he has mentored a lot of artists. And so he is on the show. So, I just want y'all to be aware. And I just want to encourage all of my rappers to keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. Because, I always think of how saturated the music industry can be. And I also think about how Christian hip hop is very saturated. But I also think that with the saturation of music, we tend to have anxiety, or rap artists can have anxiety because they feel like they're racing the clock, or they feel like they're racing the competition as far as putting the music out. And I notice you have to be really consistent when you're putting your music out. But, I just don't want people who's tuning in, if you're a rap artist, if you're an artist, gospel singer or whatever, I don't want you to have anxiety, when you're putting music out. I want you guys to be led by God when you're doing this. But at the same time, I want y'all to be knowledgeable. I want y'all to have knowledge as far as how to do this right. And this guy on the show, he's going to talk about that stuff. I'm going to bring him on right now. Let's bring the man on. His name is Victor Smith. What's going on, Victor? How you doing?
What's happening? What's going on with you? Just happy to be here. Happy to be here once again. Let's get it.
I think we're gonna have a good discussion today because I feel like we still need to kind of talk a little bit about how to present our music when we're pushing it out, and in terms of marketing our music, pushing our brand. And I feel like this is going to be a good topic for people to really gain knowledge and understanding. And I think we're really going to talk about how to do this more in person, like when we're performing, not just on social media, but when we're doing it live. And I think that's the key, doing it live. So I think people need to hear that. But first of all, you're doing good. I'm doing good. I just got to say that this is away from the topic a little bit, but I just want to say that, I was thinking about how saturated the music is today, how back in the day, maybe like in the 80s and 90s, marketing the music was probably a little different, so you would market it a little different. You really had to go do the footwork back in the 90s and 80s because I guess the internet wasn't really around, right? So you really had to do the footwork. Yeah. So so I was thinking of an artist, actually I gotta even stop talking about this because if there are a rap artist on the show, I'm giving away a free beat. I'm giving away a free beat. That's right, you heard me. I'm giving away a free beat, the beat that I made. I'm not going to play it yet. I'm going to play it in the middle of the show. But whoever gets the answer to a question right at the end of the show, you get this beat. So, I'm going to let you send me your email at the end of the show if you get it right, yada, yada. So stay tuned if you want this beat. It's a good beat, So other than that, man, listen to the show because I'm going to talk about some things. And if you get the question right, yeah, you know what the deal is. So, Victor, man, I was listening to this guy named Stephen Wiley, this dude from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And you actually, you told me before the show that, you've met him in person, you rap with him. I was like, wow, really? I didn't know that when I looked him up because I was just curious because of his music, because of what I said earlier. Marketing your music's different. So for him, he was the first Christian rap artist to be known to have a first full-length album. And I was just wondering how easy it was for him to get his album, like that album out, because he was the first Christian rap artist to do it. And I was wondering, how did he become known as the first Christian rap album? I don't know, maybe but how was he the first Christian, to be known like that?
Well, let's keep it real. We don't know if he was the first one to actually do that. Okay. What we do know is he was the first one to actually do it and do it seriously. and really push himself out there
Yeah.
and become very successful. Partly because of what we're talking about today, he hit the road, you know.
Okay.
But I know him well. He really was one of the pioneers of the Christian rap genre. That a lot of he's an unsung hero that really made Christian rap relevant. Believe it or not, I mean the raps were corny, but but back then that's all we had. It was
Yeah.
nobody doing it, and it made it cool. It was strictly for the church. It was not for the
Yeah.
streets at all. It was strictly for the church. But no, Stephen Wiley, he did his thing.
Yeah. I seen an image of him. He's not the typical gangster looking type of rapper.
Right.
You know. He got the glasses on. Even when you see the CD cover of the album, which I believe is called Bible Break,
Right.
you
That's what it
see
was. Man,
you
bring it
see
back.
it.
I
You
was
see it.
like young.
So he got like a cartoon image. He's wearing a tie. He's wearing a shirt, a buttoned up shirt. Kind of looks a little silly. Got the boom box on the side. So it
Right.
was like a fun. And I remember hearing one of the songs from that album. It's a fun song to just listen to.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I just remember it was kind of just really loose and fun.
So
Um,
he had a song called what was it called? Teenage Mutant Youth Group Member. And it was corny as all get out, but
mm-mm-mm.
it was relevant because you had kids that actually really like cartoons back in the day, like the real cartoons. Uh,
Yeah.
and he kind of played off of that type of stuff, and he made it relevant for the youth of that time. But you couldn't
Mm,
come gangster because that wasn't the vibe back then. You kind of had to swag it out, and that's literally what his image was, is that he swagged it out, and it
mhm,
was right for the time.
mhm. Being relevant is important. With today's music, I feel like rappers are very relevant to what's happening, and whether you like the music or you don't, I think even like this is what I think. Secular rap artists, they definitely know how to stay relevant. I think Christian rap artists, they kind of struggle a little bit with being relevant. Because I say that because the way the music sounds. So you got the music that's more lyrical, but it kind of has a boom bop 90s sound. But anyway, um,
Yeah,
what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
you don't want to know what I'm thinking, but
All right, all right, all right. Let's
no, I'm
continue,
gonna
man.
tell you, we have to be careful that we don't mirror the world. Okay,
Mm,
that we don't mirror um what the world per se is doing, just to try to get a listening ear into what we're doing. We're here to bring a different culture. A friend of mine says this all the time. We're sheep, not of their fold. Okay,
mhm,
and so we're peculiar people. We're different. We're supposed to bring a different flavor. Another friend of mine talks about how we're the salt of the earth, and that's in the
mhm,
Bible. We're supposed to bring flavor and salt where it's dead. And so if we mirror and we copy what the world is doing, then we're no longer flavorful. You know what I'm saying? We're no
mhm,
longer relevant to the point of bringing all glory to God. We're bringing glory to ourselves because we're
mhm,
not letting that salt shine through, if that makes sense.
mhm,
So I think, sometimes we could be so um, trying to be like the popular rappers and stuff like that when God didn't call us to do that.
mhm,
God didn't call us to be popular or go with the trends or whatever. He called us to go against the trends.
mhm,
Jesus did everything different from the church. And so if we follow what the church or what society is doing, instead of trying to make a difference in that society. And I understand that sometimes you got to go through and some certain people, their message is or that path is to go into those arenas, but that's not for everybody. And so if we just trying to be relevant, we're trying to be hood, we're trying to be gangster, just to kind of appeal to people that's not even our image. That's not even our image, and we're trying to do that type of stuff. It's just like, yo,
Mhm.
you can tell who's real and who's fake. So learn to be yourself, and so that you could be the salt of the earth. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so don't try to just mirror what everybody else is doing. So I
Yeah,
run into that.
we're not supposed to go down that route, Victor. But I just gotta say that. So I actually also I didn't mean to say like trying to mirror the world necessarily, but I also
Mhm.
feel like the music can be a little outdated. Um, I
Oh,
think that's the only thing, the
yeah,
main thing when it comes to Christian rap music. Sometimes it's outdated, but sometimes it's good because a lot of times Christian rap artists are very lyrical. They're a lot more lyrical, and
right.
they're lyrical. I love that. But that's a whole new subject, man. That
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But I know I feel you. You do have to stay current. Stay in today's let me back up. Depending on your audience, you have to know
yeah,
who you're here for. And
hmm,
so there's certain people who can't stand the music nowadays. That's not your audience. You have to know who your audience is, and tailor your message, because the thing isn't about the music per se so heavily on the music, that you're supposed to be heavy upon your message and or your brand. I know we talked about that before, is that your brand is your brand. Your brand is your message. And so how you present it is the music, is the beats, is your clothing, all of that type of stuff. That's everything else. But understand that you're supposed to be building the baby. Um, let me qualify that statement, because I'm about to say something that some people don't understand. Okay, so imagine, we've been given a message, and we've been given something that we have to birth, right? Just like a baby, you're birthing a baby, right? And so your brand is that baby, right? Your message is the baby. It's not the music. It's not your album. We talk about how we're trying to birth things, but we always talk about the music and the album and the lyrics and all this, and the packaging, the distribution, all that type of stuff. That's not the baby. That's not what's being birthed. Your message is being birthed. But think about when you birth something, you have you have a party, you have what is it? I don't know, the maternity party or something like that.
yeah,
That people will bring you the diapers, they'll bring you the baby clothes, they'll bring you the baby shoes. All of that stuff comes after you birth the baby, right? That stuff comes after you birth the baby. But we've got to focus on the baby, the message, the brand. The brand is the message. That's the thing that we should be focused more on, not the music, because the music is clothes for the baby,
mhm.
if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. That makes sense. And since you're talking about message, man, I that's we really want to get to that part today. I think that's important because for Christian artists, the message is really important. And we one of the ways we present our message is through the testimonies that we give. Testimonies is really important, and the testimony is scriptural. I mean, Paul, he knew that. He always gave his testimony in scripture. I think David, he also gave his testimonies in scripture. I think there's a scripture that I actually have that I just want to drop down, which is Psalms 22:22. It says, I will praise you to all my brothers. I will stand up before the congregation and testify of the wonderful things you have done. So it's a lot of scriptures that talks about the testimony. And in the
Hey,
scripture, yeah.
before we move from that particular scripture, listen to what it's saying. I will
Mm.
praise you to all my brothers. I will stand up before the congregation and testify of the wonderful things you have done. It's the many
Yeah,
things. We're
yep.
always like focusing on the transition from when we're not saved to the point where we're saved. We think that that's the only testimony that we have. Because that's the one we think about. Tell your testimony. It's like you tell your testimony from darkness to light. But do you understand that there's so many things that God has done for you?
Yeah,
And you talk
yeah.
about topics that need to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? We talked about this in the first one, is that there are many testimonies that we have. And so you testify of the wonderful things that you have done.
Hmm. Yeah, that's just so important. So it's not hard to give your testimony. I used to think in church, man, I used to not like when people gave their testimonies. I don't know why, but at one point when I was younger, I used to think that it was hard to give your testimony, but it's very easy. You just look around in life and see what God has done. You know, if
Yeah.
not in your life, you could just see what God has done. You can give
Yeah.
your testimony based on his creation. So
Right. Right.
um
So
for
I had a
sure.
friend of mine.
Testimony.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry, not to cut you off, but I had a friend of mine. We talk about giving your testimony. Think about this. If I was to tell you about my favorite restaurant and my experience at my favorite restaurant, don't you think that that's a testimony of the amazing food that they had? You know what I'm saying? It's like the experience that they had. You
Yeah.
know, that's all a testimony is. It's just talking
Hmm.
about your favorite. It's like talking about your favorite restaurant.
Hmm. It is. Secular rap artists, they testify in a negative way. They testify telling you, you know, I brought this bling and people was like checking it out, and this bling did this or this chain, whatever, this whip that
Right,
I got.
right,
You
right.
know, I
But if
think
you look at it, they're appealing to their audience.
they are. They are. Yep, that's true. So the message, man. First of all, what's the most? What would you say is the most important way an artist can market their music? Is it the message? Because we can go to lounges, we can go to bars, we can go to, I don't know, libraries. We can try to go to where our audience is and give out flyers, give out our music. But what would you say is the number one way we can market our music to people?
To be honest with you, if there was one way to do it, then everybody would be doing it and be successful. Everybody has to figure out what your resources are. You know, what are the things that's around you that can help get that message out. Successful people always say this: to start with what you have, because what you have is plenty. So one person may have all they have is internet, because they don't have the money to hit the road. Another person, they do have the money to hit the road, and you've got to figure out, number one, like I told you before, is understanding who you are, because that's going to tell you where to go. Um, you Everybody here has a specific, is a demographic. You are a demographic, so you go to who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
Yeah.
like I use this example all the time. Harriet Tubman, when she went back to get the people who was like her, who was dealing with the same things that she dealt with, and to free them, because she understood how they think. She understood how they walked, how they dressed, how they ate, the patterns and all that type of stuff, and she knew it was in a deplorable state, right? So
Mm.
she wasn't up north trying to uh, change the minds of the freed slaves, because that wasn't who she was there for. Even though she was a freed slave, and she understood it to a certain extent, but that wasn't her thing, and she had to figure out how to do it. And everybody has to figure out how to do it on their own, or get with a team, and figure out what is your best method
Mm.
of getting your message across,
Yeah.
with the resources that you have. Like, you have to take inventory of the resources that you have. You have a ton of resources, and one of the biggest things is right here. Um, Everybody, well, not everybody, but most people have a smartphone. There's so much that you can do with a smartphone, and not just post pictures of your album, or post pictures of your little videos of your music videos and stuff like that, but you can talk about your message.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You can speak about it, because you're trying to build your message. You're trying to build your brand. Your brand is your message. Just like Nike has that little swoosh, right? And it says, just do it. That's the message of the brand, right? Just do it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's what Nike is, right? And so everything that they have is an extension of that message. So
Hmm.
it's the shoes, it's the clothes, I mean, it's the shirts, it's the hats, You know, it's everything that they sell. The bands and everything sports wise. But that's just an extension of the message. It's just a way of getting the message out. They don't focus so much on each shoe. They don't focus so much on each shirt, on each hat. They just try to make sure that every one of them that they put out is screaming their message. That's what's more important to them than anything, because every item, every product, every CD has a lifespan, and the message does not.
Yeah, so we know, like, I mean, even secular rap artists, their messages at times is about drugs, it's about killing other people, it's about sex, women, degrading women. A lot of times that's the message. And they're able to find their audience somehow, some way through that message. As Christian rap artists, sad to say, those people they like that stuff, but for Christian like rap artists, I'm gonna really talk about rap artists, Christian rap artists more today, I feel like. But for Christian rap artists, how do we target our audience? I mean, I think you already said it before. If our music is about those, preventing those to prevent them from committing suicide, you go to that place. For people who are broke or whatever, you go to the shelters, you go to the prisons, stuff like that. How do we determine our target audience through our message?
It's the things that you care about, to be honest with you. Look, I'm from Louisiana. I know I'm about to probably get a lot of haters, but I don't care about gumbo. Okay.
You say you don't care about
I don't care about gumbo. I don't like gumbo.
Oh, gumbo.
Yeah, that's the local delicacy. I know I'm just like lost by a whole bunch of people, but that's not one of my favorite foods. And so I'm not going to speak about how good gumbo is and how good how we could change your life and change your whole existence. But I will talk about jambalaya though. And so it's what I care about. Okay, it's my favorite food. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. It has saved my life so many times when I was hungry because it's easy to fix, right? So, but it's a message that speaks to me, and I know a lot of people who love jambalaya, right? And when I get around those type of people, we have great conversations about, the type of food, the type of spices and stuff that you can put into it. So it's the same way with your message, is that you get things, you have things that you love to talk about. Like I love to talk about music. And so I'm not going to go to some, somebody who cuts grass and speak about music. I'm gonna go around people who need my help. You know what I'm saying? Who need, the message of how to get better or how to get out of a certain state. I'm finding those particular type of people, and but I have to continue to look. It's the same way when you meet somebody, you're trying to find a common thread, and if there's no common thread, you move on. So, but you have to continue to go out, and meet people and do things and get around certain communities. And you're not going to fit every time, but you go. The Bible talks about go ye therefore. Go ye therefore, not stay on the computer ye therefore. It talks about go ye therefore.
Yeah, absolutely.
And preach the gospel. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But you're not going to get into every everywhere is not going to work. It's not going to work. But you still have to continue to find those people. But, you narrow that stuff down because you understand, hey, I like to talk about this. This is near and dear to my heart. This happened to me. And you go find people who need to hear that message. So I hope that answered your question.
It did. And, one of the things I put as far as message, I put is to know, know what your message is and know that it's influencing people when you present it. I think one of the key things that you said is going to those places. And a lot of times when you go to those places, we also perform our messages in front of people. So we present our message in front of crowds of people when we perform on stage at concerts or whatever. So with that said, I think the message is important, and it's something that we should practice because it represents.
Please say that again.
and practice.
Right.
I don't want to sound like Allen Iverson, but
I know, right?
But yeah, practice the message. Even
Yeah.
I would you even agree with me by saying practice your testimony?
Absolutely. You got
Yeah.
to, like, this is the thing that it's the same thing that Jesus had to compel people. He had to talk to people and be very, had to bring things down to their level, even though they still didn't understand it. You know, he also say, he that hath an ear, let him hear. But the examples that he gave met the people where they were. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about the kingdom, but the examples that he gave, the testimonies and the things that the stories and all that type of stuff met the people where they were. But for us, we're not that, not a lot of us aren't that sweet just talking on the mic, right? So you got to practice. You got to,
Yeah.
like stand in a mirror. I got a mirror in here right now that knows more about me than anybody on the planet, because of the hours that and the days and the weeks and the years that I've stood in front of it, trying to perfect my craft. But it's the same thing that national recording artists do. That's what they do in the rehearsal in the rehearsal studio. They are practicing their message.
Mm-hmm.
They're practicing how they're going to present the message that they have. And so we feel like, we don't need all of that, or it's not important to us because it's not glamorized on television. It's not glamorized on the phone, on media. We don't really see a lot of these artists doing that, when that's where they at the most of their time is rehearsing their message. They're practicing their message. It's crucial. It's crucial.
Rehearse. Y'all hear that? Rehearse. So I want to go to this video, man, because this dude, NF, I'm sure many people, he's very popular now, but I want to go back in the day, not too far, but like this was like 2015 when he was performing at this festival. He gave a message. He gave a testimony before he went to this song. And so I'm gonna play this video, and I want y'all to actually hear his testimony. If you're, an artist, a creative, not just a rap artist, but if you're an artist and you feel like you struggle in this area, I just want maybe y'all can take notes on how he presents his message. And we're going to kind of talk about this, but also if I have rap artists watching the show, if you know of a rap artist who are looking for beats, maybe you can answer the question too. And I can give you the beat, or I can give them the beat too. But there's a question that I'm going to ask at the end of the show. So stay tuned to the end of the show. And if you get the answer to the question right, I'm going to give you the beat. So, I need to play the beat, don't I, Victor? I forgot. I need to play the beat.
That might help.
Yeah, this is the beat. This is an intermission little thing, but this is the beat. We're going to come right back. All right, so that's a little snippet of the beat.
Yeah, don't give it too much.
No, don't give it too much. You got to draw them in. That's a little bit of the beat. But now we're going to get into this video, man. Check out this video. It's about 3 minutes long. We'll be right back, and we will talk about NF's testimony. Check it out once I add it. There you go. Here we go.
And anybody out here who's grew up in that, that it can have a huge effect on your life. That's not all that happened to me. I know a lot of people are from a broken home, but I had a mom who was addicted to prescription pills. Anybody have somebody in their life that went through something like that? It's a crazy and scary thing because my mom had 3 kids, me and my 2 sisters, and she chose those over us. And so I grew up and have grown up feeling like I had a mom who didn't care about us, and that's a crazy thing to feel. My parents got divorced because of that, some other things. And so we started having visitation rights. Anybody who's gone through something like that knows it's very awkward. It's weird. We would meet in this room, and some lady would sit in the corner and she would write down everything we say. It was just weird. And you don't feel like that's your mom. You feel like it's some weird person that you're trying to get to know, which you should have a relationship with already. You know what I'm saying? You guys driving with me on this? And So finally, I started to have. I grew up with a lot of anger issues. I was physically abused. You don't have to raise your hand, but if you feel led to, basically, I was physically abused. And anybody out here who has been physically abused or been through something like that, there's mental abuse, but I was physically abused, and that stuck with me. I'm 24 years old now, and like that stuck with me every single day of my life. I got anger issues. People ask me, "Why is your music this way? Why is it that way?" It's because it's real to me. Like, it's really what I'm going through, and you'd be shocked at how many people, even in this crowd right now, have went through something like that, and maybe you just don't know about it. You'd be shocked. I get messages all the time from fans that have been through things way worse than me. Like, they didn't just go through it through months of their life. They're still going through it. So it's a very real thing, and it's something that I dealt with and I'm still dealing with. And I started to have a relationship with my mom as time went on, and I was her son, and I felt like I wanted to be there for her. I felt like I wanted to do something. I know I couldn't change my mom. And then I got a call when I was 18. I saw my mom 2 weeks before that, and they told me my mom had overdosed and she died. And so anybody in this crowd who knows somebody who is addicted to pills or anything like that, or maybe you lost someone in your life, it's weird because – not just weird, but it is weird because 2 weeks before that, I saw my mom. I was in a room with my mom, and you're like looking at this person, and sometimes it's easy to go through life and not assume that it's possible that I die tomorrow. It's possible that I lose this person. So I'm not going to stand on this stage and pretend like I'm past all this stuff, because I'm not past all this stuff. I just want to be this music helps me, and I know it helps a lot of people out there that have been through the same thing I've been through. So I just want to encourage anybody who's gone through something like that. There is hope. So this last song I'm going to do is called Wake Up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so that's the video. And what I like about this testimony, man, is you can see the emotion coming out of him. And he did a good job. You can tell he practiced it, straight through. But you see his emotion. I noticed he was like grabbing the coils of the cable.
That's
I was paying attention.
That's a clear sign that he was not comfortable doing it.
Yeah. So he kept it real for the most part. I think a lot of times you see artists on TV, music videos, and you don't see the human, realistic side. But when you see something like this, him giving a testimony, it not only influences you, but you like, okay, he human. He been through some stuff. He experienced some stuff from his mom, overdosing. So what's your take on this video, man?
Man, I loved every second of it. Because of the word that I like to use is called transparency. And it's you're vulnerable on stage, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because now it's not just about the music. Now you're actually connecting with the audience, because people are dealing with those particular things. And for the people who have never heard him before, or maybe loosely know about NF just because of his music, wouldn't understand the depth of how much he's still dealing with the fact that his mom overdosed and has been abused, and all this other stuff has just happened to him. He tried to make amends with his mom, but she overdosed and died. Even the fact that she passed away is a traumatic experience, and that connects with people who have lost a loved one. So there's so many different connective tissues just because he had the ability and the heart to step out and talk about his testimony, so it's something that we have to do, because that's the heart of everything that we do. The music is just bait, right? It's just bait until now. I got you. Now you're gonna hear this word I got for you.
And I'm sure you
all that stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure you sat through many of whatever it was, concerts or whatever, where artists, they didn't do a good job presenting their message, or they I think artists, they just want to get straight to the music.
This is one comes to mind, and I was at this album release party, and this particular person had a song that years ago, a long time ago. It had, I think the name of it was like "Thank You" or something like that, and it was great song. But in my heart, I was just like, "Thank you for what?" Like what are you being thankful for? It wasn't in the lyrics.
Yeah.
It was just, I wanted to know the story behind the song. And great as it was, it just didn't touch me at all.
Yeah.
And so he, invited some folks to come up and, sing thank you, thank you, thank you. And they kind of took turns and doing all kind of runs and all this type of stuff. And which was, was very entertaining, but I still couldn't connect until this one guy came up and he said, "Stop the music." And he said, "Let me tell you why I'm saying thank you." I was in the audience like, "Thank you." I was like, that's what I was looking for. Then everybody after that started doing the same thing. And I'm like, why wasn't that done at the beginning of the song? And so now the song means something different to me now, instead of it just being entertaining. And if he didn't stop the song, it never would have been talked about.
Yeah. So what was the key? I mean, you can say something, like thank you, but the key behind that is, I mean, evidently you want to give people details in your message, but you also want to give like almost like the why of your message. I feel like.
Well, every song has a why. Every song has a specific message, which is an overline in every, group of songs has an overlying message. But going back to NF for a second, the depth of the details that he went into was very it's something that I preach all the time. Go into those details. I had a client of mine came here from another state, and she got to talking about her testimony and started crying. And she said that, "I know I can't do this on stage." I was like, "Please do that on stage." You know what I'm saying? Like, let them tears fly. You know what I'm saying? Like people need to see like the for real raw emotion of the depth of the stuff that you've been through, because that's what they're feeling. That's what your audience is feeling inside. And if you're supposed to be the voice of those particular people, how are they going to express themselves if you don't? Right? So NF spoke for so many people, so many issues in just that 3-minute video. He spoke about drug abuse. He spoke about physical abuse. He spoke about what was it? A lost one that was a lost one. He spoke about so much stuff, but he covered so many things that, I mean, to largely, I don't even think that he understands of how in depth that was and how many people that it reached. And if people don't talk about that stuff, if people don't release that stuff on stage in front of people, that's the message. That's the message. It's not your music. Your music is the bait to get them in to hear your message. You know what I'm saying? If that was the case, like you go to church, then why do we need a pastor to get up and preach their message? They have praise and worship that's saying the same thing. Why don't we stop there? So you're missing a crucial element to your live performance or your live presentation or the presentation itself without talking about and presenting your message in the right manner.
Yeah, and testimonies, which is what we talked about too, empowers the sermon. A lot of times it empowers the word.
Absolutely.
It influences. So with that said, what you said too, we don't realize that we are influencing people with our message. I think sometimes maybe artists don't realize that our message or our testimony can influence people because it's so personal to us. But we gotta realize people, a lot of times go through the same things, if not worse things than we go through. So for real. If we got rap artists on the show, I saw somebody drop in, you Netzer, you're a rap artist. I got a beat at the end of the show. If you answer a question right, you get this beat. So I don't know if you heard the beat, but maybe I'll play it a little bit later on. I don't know. Um, as far as the message, I think another piece that's important to and this topic's a little bigger, it's a little more complex, I feel like, but I think when you're presenting the message, you also want to present your image at times. I feel like you can present your image in different ways through music videos, but I think also you present your image to people when you're performing too. I don't know, but I think of NF too. I guess I'm gonna stick on him a little bit because his image, when you see his music videos, when you see him performing, is gloomy. Is he has the smiley face, the black smudge on his, on the sides, and he has the black balloon. So I feel like that's his image in a way. I feel like I don't know. You have to explain this a little more than me. I feel like, but his brand is in there too. His I don't know what the difference is, but I see his brand as that overall look as well. But what as far as like the image, is that something that we try to make people, see, or try to show people what our image is, or is that something that they're going to catch in regards to how we look? I don't know if I'm asking this question right, but does that make sense?
Yeah, no, let me prerequisite my answer by saying this is that people judge you based upon how you look, whether they're going to listen to you or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Based on how you look on stage, based on how you walk on stage, based on how your swag is on stage, how you hold a mic, how you begin, start to formulate words. They judge you before you start talking. Okay, so your outward image is so important. That's why you as an artist have to be concerned, not worried, but concerned about every aspect of your art. Remember, what I'm saying is that you are the product. People are coming to see you. People not coming to necessarily hear your music. They want to know more about you and your story. If they just wanted your music, they just stayed in their car or listening to it on their phone. They ain't got to come to a concert, but they want to come to a concert to vibe with you, right? Yeah. And so, but you have to present yourself in a way. Think about it. Fred Hammond, he's the powerful man of God that he is. It's like, man, his music has changed our lives, and he shows up on stage in pajamas. Huh? You know what I mean? It's like, I'm talking about the footies and everything. You know what I mean?
He lost all respect. All respect.
What in the world is going on? It's like, man, I don't want to listen to him. And his message is pure. I'm talking, his message is still on point. But the packaging is just like, conversely, like we talk about all the time, we have a steak and it's presented wrong. We have a steak that we made, we spent all of our time with, and it's good for you. You're not good for you, but it's delicious. And you got your sides and all that type of stuff, but it comes out in the paper napkin. I'm not eating that. Yeah. I don't care how good it is. I'm not eating that. That's not you got to do something about what happens to the plate, the utensils, all that type of stuff. So it matters how you look. And how you present yourself. This is the problem, though, is that there are three aspects to image that we don't that we don't take into account. Number one is how you see yourself. That's all we focus on, is how is how we want to be presented. I'm saying like this, how we want to be presented to people. That's all we focus on. But there's two parts that we're missing, because we have to understand that we have to figure out, what are they actually seeing, right? How are they perceiving you, right? And so just because we want to get them to perceive us a certain way doesn't mean that we're executing that, right? So we have to find out how they're perceiving us, right? And I'm drawing a blank on the other one. It's how you want to be perceived. I'm sorry, how you perceive yourself, how you want to be perceived, and how people are actually perceiving you. Okay, that's three different aspects of you figuring out your image, because we have a way that we want to present ourselves, but sometimes we don't execute. We have a way because they're going to perceive us in a completely different light. Think about the times, especially for my recording artists, when you heard yourself talk or you heard yourself recorded for the very first time, and you like, I sound like that. Oh no, I don't like my voice. Because that was the first time that you've actually heard your voice. You thought you knew what you sounded like until you actually heard what you sounded like. And that's what everybody else hears, right? So this is why they have focus groups. And they have people, unbiased people, that will tell us the truth about our image. We can't rely on our eyes. We can't because we're biased. We want others to see us in a certain light, but sometimes we don't execute. We have to go to those people that we're actually presenting ourselves in front of and have a little group and just say, hey, how do you think how did this go? And with an unbiased voice, that's why they have focus groups and stuff like that when it comes to branding and image, because you can't just rely on your own eyes.
Yeah, but would you also say it's important for us to, because I remember I always, remember when I used to hear myself for the first time or see myself like, and still, I feel a little uncomfortable seeing myself after, I do something like, I don't know, like a show or something, like a podcast show.
Right.
Would you say, even though it's better for other people to hear us and to see us, it's also important for us to videotape ourselves doing it?
Absolutely.
So we can go back to it. Yeah.
How are you going to critique yourself if you don't see yourself?
Exactly.
I'm talking everything that you do, there should be somebody following you with a camera. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if it's an interview. I don't care if it's, like a party, bar mitzvah, concert, whatever. I mean, you should be videotaping every performance that you have. Number one, to get better. Another thing is for social media purposes and promotional purposes. People need to see you moving. But for critiquing and getting better, that's the only way that you're going to do it, is if you have something to actually analyze, the same way football players do. They film everything, every aspect of the game, and then they go back into a classroom after the days after the game and analyze their weaknesses. And then they come back and they execute the next weekend. So,
man, I find it very interesting that there's a lot of YouTubers out there, and all they do is they have somebody carrying a camera videotaping them, their moves, like what they're doing. Like, you got YouTubers who are playing basketball, you got more of them coming out, and they have somebody shooting the camera of them playing, and they'll come up to the camera and say something to the camera. They're always engaged to the audience, and it's almost like you're watching the TV, like a TV show. But it's more and more YouTubers like doing this, not for music, but they're doing this for whatever they like to do, whatever they're good at doing, whether it's football. I saw one dude doing, he does it for him playing football, but it's very interesting. Like, this is the world we live in now. And this is how people are really, it's like they're marketing themselves. But it's not even, it's like they're marketing themselves, not for, I guess, music or for, I don't know, things that you would think you would need to market yourself for. It's just things that's out of the not the ordinary, but it's just things that you like to do, if that makes sense. That's it.
And that's the way it's always been. It's not some rocket science stuff that we're trying to promote. You're promoting what you love to do.
Yeah.
Problem is that we don't promote what we love to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're promoting the music, we're promoting the music videos, but the stuff that, like, we love to go to the studio, we love talking about this particular topic, we love conversing. I know some YouTubers that are that love to lift weights, and so while they're reacting, they have a whole bunch of reaction videos, but then you'll see them clanging and banging in the gym. You know what I'm saying? And so you have a whole bunch of people that's following them. It's just like, man, I didn't know you did that. Now you got a super fan. Because you expose the stuff that you love to do outside of what's normal.
Yeah, and I would say too, if you're an artist and you do performances, a key thing to show is the behind the scenes shots. You know, they do it for fights, boxing. They do it for UFC fights. They always have the behind the scenes of what the fighters are doing, like before and after, like the weigh-in, for example, before the fight. So I think that's a key to have too, behind the scenes. Like when you're in the studio, maybe show you working with the producer, you know, talking to the producer. Oh, you know, I want this sound to sound like this. And I think producers do it a lot too. I always see now producers showing how they created a beat. And sometimes all it has to be is like a minute long. I seen one, actually the producer for NF, he created a video showing how he created one of the songs, and he just showed different elements, and it was only about a minute long. You can post that on Instagram. Usually, you know, that's all it takes. People's attention span is very short too. So
one quick thing, I wish people would show the behind the scenes of them actually practicing. For real.
That'll be really, that would be something to see.
Yeah,
people want to see that.
People want to see like your preparation, because you have a lot of recording artists, national recording artists, that are actually practicing. They actually show that type of stuff. But guess who watches it? It's up and coming recording artists. They want to see that stuff, you know, because it makes them just like, oh, okay, so I'm doing right. I need to be doing more of that stuff, that type of stuff. So, but it keeps you real. It keeps you vulnerable. It keeps you relevant. That type of stuff is what is the for real grind. That's what's really going on. It ain't the studio.
I think of Beyonce, like she practices a lot. So I think
absolutely.
I don't follow her, but do she show behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah, of her practicing.
Yeah, you have to catch her because she's so private. But there's legends about her. There was a legend about her that she practiced so much. She practiced 3 days without even eating. She forgot to eat. Yeah, she forgot to eat. And because she was just on it. But I know people that's like that. They're so driven that they I mean, you know, eating slows you down. It's like, no, I just take a little, you know, energy bar and, you know, and a little Red Bull, and let's keep going. We got to get this right. But if the people that's on that level are that dogmatic about their goals and their dreams and stuff like that, what do you think that you should be doing?
Yeah.
Be dogmatic about your goals and your dreams and rehearse. Because like I said, they're rehearsing the presentation. They're rehearsing on how they're going to present their message. And Beyonce presents it flawlessly.
Yeah. I think about what she said, you know, she don't eat. That's kind of, you know, I think creatives, we tend to do that. You know,
just during that. It was just that.
No, I know. She didn't eat. You know, I know she. Yeah. But I don't know. It made me think of fasting, but I'm not going to get into that. You know. Let's stay away from that for a minute. Hey, this is good stuff, man. You know, one thing that I'm thinking about too is the ministry part and the business part. Like, you know, the business part is a different mindset. The ministry part is a different mindset. So, for example, in the business, you think about these things. Like, you think about how we're going to market ourselves, how we're going to market the music. In the ministry, the mindset is different. But, you know, you still want to add, I guess, elements, you know, from the business side into the ministry side. You just you want to treat them differently, right?
Yeah, it's two separate. It's separate but equal. You have to take. You have to be mindful of each part. Now, when you start to marry the two, that's when the problem gets into place. You know, when you have mega churches, there's somebody over the ministry, and then there's somebody over the business, and there's two different, and they all report to the head guy. But there's somebody running that type of stuff, and so it's great to, and some, you know, we don't have those resources at this level to be able to really affect it on a high level, unless you do business. But then you've got to focus so much on the ministry, and it's two different hats. You know, I've heard it said, I'm trying to remember where I heard this from, but to be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. Is that's when you focus so much on the ministry that you forget about when the other parts of society, and you're so stuck in the clouds. You're thinking so much about the ministry, the heavenly realms, and all of that type of stuff, which is good, which is great. But at the same time, how are you gonna pay the bill? Who do you have enough money to get gas to get to your next event? You know what I'm saying? Like, do we have enough money? What's the revenue stream coming through to re-up on our products? As far as eating and wardrobe and all that type of stuff, and brand, who's going to pay for the advertisement and all that type of stuff? Like, who's going to do that? Like what's the cost structure? What's the return on investment of the products that we selling? We have to think about that type of stuff. And then on the other hat, we put on the different hat. It says, okay, now it's time to get up on stage and minister, and really bring down the fire, and God touch the needs of such and such or whatever, and perfecting your message. It's two different hats. It's two different mind frames, and the problem becomes is when we start to marry the two together as one, when it's not supposed to be like that.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, I think for the business part, you may have a team to focus more on that for you. But if you're a solo person doing it yourself, then it may be harder. So you do have to wear different hats.
Yeah, it's a little difficult, but understand that you don't bring the heavenly into the business. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And just and because your feelings and your emotions will have you broke. Because it feels you start. I'm sorry, say it again.
No, I was just gonna say, explain the heavenly, because I think it's good. You want to pray about your business, but explain what you mean.
Okay, so what I'm talking about is when you're talking to people and you saying, they gonna give you a sob story when they want you to come to their event or come do something for them or whatever. They're gonna give you the sob story because they don't want to pay you. They want you to come through, on emotion and stuff. They try to tug at that heartstring. And, if we're so much on the heavenly, so much on all this other stuff, is that we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff for free. And then we're going to wonder, like, man, the church don't even support me. That's not their fault. It's yours. Because you took off, you kept on the heart hat and you didn't put on the business hat to say, hey, I would love to come, but you got to go the booking route. We would love to tell me the needs that need to be met. Okay, thank you. We need this, and okay, we're gonna deal with that. But I need you to go to that booking page, and you better book it, and you better pay us such and such amount, for us to come out there. Plane tickets. We for us, when I rapped, I told them folks, if you can get us out there, we coming. Notice what I said. If you could get us out there, I mean, plane ticket, hotel, all that stuff. You paying for all of that, and we will, we'll be on the first thing smoking out there or whatever. But our business structure was in place for us to do that. I couldn't be on the phone with those folks with heart. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I care about your situation, but at the same time, we got gas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You definitely want to make sense of the business side, man. And everything you said it makes sense. It makes sense. It's definitely important to know how to present yourself when you're presenting yourself in front of business people. You're talking about business stuff compared to the ministry when it's time to do the ministry. I think that's so important. I feel like, that's a bigger topic we can definitely touch on another time, and I feel like we are towards the end of the show. And I feel like we got a little bit more people who are tuned into the show. I don't know if we have any rap artists, but I got this beat for y'all, man. This beat is sitting. It's saying take me. I feel like I need to play it again. Let me play it for y'all. Because if you answer this question right, you get this beat. So I'm gonna ask the question after I play this beat. Y'all ready? right, that's all y'all get, man. So I don't know what type of rap artist I got in here. I don't know if this is your style right here, but let me ask the question. Hopefully you was listening into the show. But the question is, this guy is recognized as the first artist to have recorded a full-length Christian rap album with his 1985 release. The name of the album was Bible Break. Who was this? What's the name of this guy, this rap artist who was recognized as the first artist to have recorded a full-length Christian rap album? Do I have any answers? If not, if I don't have any answers, I'm gonna have to make it easier for y'all to answer this question. But hopefully, I can get some answers. Anybody?
Post it in the chat.
Post it. My fault. Post it in the chat. Give me the answer in the chat in the comment section. I have any takers? Any takers? My beat wasn't hot enough for y'all, huh?
Uh-oh. Some singers, hey, they got some singers that can sing over that too now.
That's true. That's actually this beat. I can hear a singer on this beat too. Definitely. But this type of sample, this is a big sample too. No, I don't know if I hear too many singers on a sample like this. I don't know. All right, if I got anybody who want to answer this question, if you don't know the answer, I'm gonna let y'all give me his first name. The guy's from Oklahoma. Yes, he's from Oklahoma. You are close. You can look it up. Hey, you can Google it. What's his first name? If anybody gives me his first name, I'll give you the beat. I need Jeopardy music.
I know, right?
His first name starts with an S. Any takers? Y'all gonna make me have to hold this beat for the next time I do my show.
Y'all don't appreciate the beat.
Oh man. Sonya, you didn't hear the name clearly. I thought I said the name like 3 times. And, All right, this guy, his name is also in the Bible, and his name starts with an S. This guy got killed by a group of people for
a horror story.
He got killed by a group of people who.
Oh my gosh.
Keith Smith. I gotta give the question again. The question is, who was recognized as the first artist to have recorded a full-length Christian rap album with his 1985 release? The name of the album is Bible Break.
There it is.
Hey, Johnny, you get the beat. All right. Woo! We got somebody, man. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to hold this beat. So, Johnny, you can DM me your email, or you can send your email in the comment section right there, and I will send you the beat. I'll look for you on Facebook, and maybe I'll send you a message. And yeah, I'll connect with you, Johnny. But you get the beat. I'm glad somebody got this, because I don't want it anymore. I feel like it's a beat that I can definitely give away. So anyway, man, this show
is hot though.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, for you to say that it was hot too, I appreciate that, because I know you have an ear for music. So
that's what I'm saying. I can hear some singers and stuff like that over it too. It's like that's what R&B music is nowadays. It's just singing over rap tracks.
That is. What's interesting too, there's a lot of rappers. Stephen Wiley, he is a rapper. These people, y'all are confused. It's all good. But But what's interesting is a lot of rappers are rapping to beats that's more like R&B beats too. I feel like the beats are very like now the beats are, they're called like trap soul, and they have like an R&B vibe, and all they're doing is
Yeah.
harmonizing to the music. It's like they're
Exactly.
harmonizing but rapping to it.
That's it.
It's
That's
crazy.
all it is. It's just
Yeah.
fusing the two.
It's crazy. They doing a good job though. They making me want to get into that genre right there.
Y'all can have it. I ain't trying to hit no stage no time soon.
Come on, Victor. You know you want to come out of retirement.
Oh man, you don't know how many people I turned down. Like, nah, I'm good. I love being behind the scenes and helping everybody else.
Oh man. Hey, I appreciate y'all tuning into the show. Yeah, man. You know, Stephen Wiley, I remember when I first heard one of his tracks, I was surprised to actually hear that. And like Victor said, he was the first one to be recognized. Maybe not the first one necessarily to come out with an album. I also read somewhere in Wikipedia, which said that T-Bone, if you heard of him before, he's a rapper.
Yeah.
But he was one of the rappers who he acknowledged that this guy was the first artist to do this. So I don't know. Maybe that might be a big reason why he was recognized for that reason. So I don't know.
Hey, real quick, earlier in the comments, I see that Miss Sonia put he did Teenage Mutant Christian member. It's actually Teenage Mutant Youth Group member. That's what it was. He was trying to get towards the youth. It was corny. It was corny as all get out, but it was hot to us back in the day. It was a different time. It was a different time.
Yeah.
We didn't have everything.
I'm trying to imagine how that would be hot, but it's very hard for me to imagine how that name would be hot just because of the times we're living in right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that when you say it
back then though, back then it's just like, oh yeah, no, that's it right there.
I think when you said Teenage Mutant Youth, that I don't know if that made it sound worse.
It did. Like, I don't know. I think it was purposefully trying to be corny and relevant at the same time, but it was bad. It was bad.
All right, y'all. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this show. I'm gonna bring Victor on again, probably next month, the third week, and we're gonna keep the ball moving. I got a lot too that I'm doing for Irregular Raps. Be sure to look out for irregularraps.com. It's still in the works, but I'm building that platform to promote music, to connect with other ministries, and to also there's also going to be a blog section. So shows like this, you'll get to see blogs written up. By the way, Victor, your show, there's going to be blogs on this, man. So look out for stuff like that. So, good stuff happening. So y'all stay tuned, be blessed. And next time we're going to tune into, I'm not even going to say what's on my mind, but stay tuned, be blessed, flow, and God's love. Till next time, this was fun. All right, y'all.